And the playoffs will roll on next week with the divisional rounds, the Super Wild Card Weekend. Triple headers on Saturday and Sunday. A lot of fun to watch all of those games. We'll talk about that and much more. Robert Jones, the former East Carolina All-American, the Hall of Famer, the three-time Super Bowl champion, is joining us, and we're going to talk to him and kick things off. Robert, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man.
Good to hear from you.
Brian.
Good to hear from you. One of my all-time favorite Pirates, and as I said in the intro, one of my all-time favorite people. I haven't seen you in a while, but always try to keep up with you.
I'm doing good, man. I'm going to do an interview, and I'm going to eat a sandwich today.
Well, you're going to do them one at a time? All right. Well, let's kick things off. We're going to have you on to talk about the football playoffs. Did you watch the NFL playoffs on a Saturday and Sunday? Did you watch this weekend?
I watched the games yesterday, and then I watched a little bit on Saturday.
Okay.
But go ahead, shoot. Any question? Go ahead.
Any question? All right. Well, let's go through each one of them because I think each one of them had their own tale to tell. Let's kick it off with the Colts and the Bills. And really, this Colts team all year long, they were close. I mean, I really thought they were a very good football team. Playing at Buffalo, they were underdogs. Of course, you know, these home teams, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that as we kick things off. But these home teams really don't have the big advantage that they normally have because there are no crowds, or if there is a crowd, it's a very thin crowd, a very small crowd because of the COVID. But what did you see in that ball game?
Well, first of all, I don't think crowds make a difference in the playoffs. I really don't.
Really?
I really don't. I think guys are just excited, and it's more than just the money. It's like countdown to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that the crowd won't have an effect. But as far as the players on the field, it's two good teams. They're playing really well. They've gotten to that point. I've seen teams that just wild card teams that just go all the way to the Super Bowl. From the time I was a kid, and being an actual professional athlete, watching wild card teams like New England Patriots at one point were wild card teams, and then the New Giants were a wild card team. So I don't think it matters. I don't think it gives one team an advantage or not. It comes down to, the flow of the game. Sometimes emotions, lie with, the Colts in this previous game on Saturday, and then sometimes it was the Bills. It's like who responds when someone has the the flow of the game going their way. How do you respond? That's a better way of saying it.
Buffalo wins at 27-24, goes down to the wire. I mean, the Colts had the football at the end of the game, but the Bills were able to hang on. And you look at these playoffs, the Bills haven't been around, hardly at all. The Browns haven't been around hardly at all. So you've got teams that are really, it kind of gives it a newness, doesn't it?
Well, it does. But I think what the Bills have done and what the Browns have done, is that they've gotten a couple players in there that makes a difference in the positions that you really need to have some playmakers at. And that's the quarterback position. It's unfortunate, though, Josh Allen, I felt like played like garbage his first year, and now he's playing like an all-pro. And Buffalo's just strong. They're just strong this year. Although against Indianapolis, I'm like, man, they're going to blow this team out. They're going to just blow them out. And Indianapolis played them very well. I think, they got a few hits on Josh to kind of shake him up a little bit. I think the defense played well. I just wish Indianapolis probably should have, gone for the field goal. The one that they missed, I know they're sitting back counting those points and say that's 6 points right there. So if they got that back, they win that game. So, Buffalo didn't dominate at home like they should have
right.
in Indianapolis. So it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen this week.
All right, game 2 on Saturday was the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, and I go back to what I said about the 12th man with the Seahawks and just the great home field advantage that they normally have, but that didn't play out either. I thought the Rams just played such good defense, and Russell Wilson, his stats were just horrible.
At the beginning of the game when I saw the Rams come out, I'm like, man, they are flat as I don't know what. Then I tweeted and I said, well, Rams are flat. Seattle's going to win this game. Game's over. Next. I tweeted that, and then I'm like, I got to eat my words now because Rams are starting to play. And, I felt like, throughout the game, they didn't give up. They just kept playing. They kept playing and kept playing. And I haven't been keeping up with a lot of the teams, but I noticed that the quarterback, I'm like, who is this guy? And then what happened to their quarterback? And then, I think Zay or Caleb, they both texted me and said, hey, Pop, I think he hurt his finger, his thumb or something last week. And I'm like, oh, so he's out because of a finger? He said, it's his throwing hand, Pop, so don't criticize him so much. But then,
come on, Pop.
But then the quarterback that they had in there, I don't even know his name. He got hurt, concussion, I think it was, man. And I hope he's doing better. But then, was it Jared Goff?
Jared Goff came back with that broken thumb. He had surgery 2 weeks ago and came back, and I thought he played pretty well to just have.
Oh, he played.
Just had surgery.
Played great. I'm like, because I'm like, it don't look like he got a bad thumb the way he's playing. So the Rams, they hung in there, man, and I think they're just an all around. I like Sean McVay. I like him. That's my coach. I like Sean McVay.
Russell Wilson was 11 of 27 through the air, and he got sacked 5 times by that Rams defense. And I don't know if the Rams have enough for the Packers, and we'll talk about that matchup coming up later on today. But still, that was the first big upset of the playoffs because the Rams came in as the 6th seed. They advanced, and the 5th seed also advanced. The night game, and the Buccaneers were favored, obviously, over the Washington football team. Hey, let me get your take. You played, I think, was your last season with the team formerly called the Redskins, right?
Yeah, the team formerly called the Redskins. That sounds like we're talking about Prince, man.
No, or Madonna or somebody like that. Yeah. What are your feelings about the nickname? I mean, did you ever have any feelings at all when you were playing for him?
No, it didn't affect me, but I learned, and I'm sensitive to people's situations and their culture and their native and stuff. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm just not okay with just the Washington football team. I think somebody could have been creative enough to come up with something temporary, other than the Washington football team. Because it sounds like, some team, they're in a different league or something. Somebody created this league, and that's the Washington football team right there. So other than that, I mean, it doesn't bother me. Like I said, I'm sensitive to the name change, and I had to get educated a little bit because I was ignorant to what the Redskins meant and then how the name originated, the whole nine. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say it was even harder as a former Cowboy great to put that Redskin on, to put the Washington uniform on.
Well,
but they paid the bills, didn't they?
It paid the bills, but let me just tell you, Brian, what happened in that situation. If you remember, Marty Schottenheimer was the coach.
Yeah.
And then Indianapolis had that coach. What was his name? The one that went playoffs.
Jim Mora.
Jim Mora. So both of the teams wanted me on their team, and I really wanted my mom, my dad, my family back at home. I'm from a small town called Blackstone, Virginia, which is about 2.5 hours away from the Redskins. So I really wanted them to see me play because I played in Dallas and, I'm in Miami and St. Louis, so they never got a chance to just come and watch a game. And so that season was more about them than about anybody. And, Jim Moore, he really wanted me there. And, I went there and worked out for Marty. He was impressed and brought me on as a Redskin. So that's what that was about.
Yeah. Did that last year, did your body kind of tell you that, hey, we're getting close to the end of this thing? Because the NFL is so physical. And I don't think we've ever talked about that. But was your body kind of telling you that?
My body was telling me, but my mind wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, because you hate to see that stuff coming to an end, man. It's like, the NFL being in that limelight, it just does something to you with the treatment, the royal treatment that everybody gives you. Just the never having to go into an airport. We just ride up to the airplane, get on the plane, and we just go. Never waiting in line to go to the doctor. that kind of thing. So all those things you miss. I mean, guys that are playing it, they should be grateful and enjoy it, because when it comes to an end, it's just tough to get over. And so mentally, it was tougher than it was physically. But physically, my body was just starting to wear down.
Robert, this is Clip. Sorry, Bailey.
No, go right ahead.
As a Redskins
We're talking
fan,
about Washington football. You might as well chip in.
I remember that year. I think you got Washington started 0-5 and then won 5 in a row. It was kind of a weird year. That's there, right. And I guess what I want to ask, I remember around that time, I thought that Marty kind of got a raw deal there. He got fired after 1 year where you guys went 8-8. Then they brought in Spurrier, and that didn't go well at all. But as a player around there, and you were kind of ready to hang it up anyway, it sounds like. But did the players like Marty? Like, was that a big deal about him being fired after just 1 year there?
I think the players like Marty. Marty, he was looked at as a guy with his language being deplorable and not so so nice around the facility. But man, I'd been used to that kind of stuff my whole life, and especially in the NFL and college coaching. And I mean, that's how you get people up and moving. You got to yell at them with a little bit of vulgar language. But anyway, guys like Marty. I liked him. I thought he was a great coach. I liked his philosophy. He's a little different in some of the things that he do. But I enjoyed him. I don't know why he got fired after 1 year. I think he was a man that wanted to do it his way. So maybe the owner, wanted to change some things, and Marty didn't. So Marty's kind of like my way or the highway.
You got anything else while we on this Washington tangent? Clip, you good?
I'm good. Go ahead. Clip's
my favorite Washington fan. Most of the fans that root for the Washington football team, I really don't care for, but I do care for Clip, and he had a good time watching his team play. Though that was funny. He had a live thing while I was watching the game. I kept commenting Cowboys the whole time. Is
that the only word you know, Bailey?
That's all I know. I kept commenting Cowboys. But I didn't get a lot of deal out of that. All right, let's go on to Sunday's games. You said you watched these a little closer. The opener was the Ravens and the Titans, and the story there was Lamar Jackson. I mean, as a linebacker, how hard would it be to try to track him down?
Well, I probably will pretend I'm hurt that week that we got to play Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't want to play against him.
Yeah, but he's got it rolling.
Because it's like I can't compare him. And look, that's a weird comparison, but I can't compare him to when we got ready to play Detroit Lions and Barry Sanders. When we got ready to play Barry Sanders, everybody, coaches, players, everybody were nervous because Barry can get you fired, and that's what Lamar Jackson is doing. He's getting people fired out there, tackles that you should make, and coaches don't know. And fans don't know, it's hard to tackle a guy like that when he gets going in the open field. So it was like that way with Barry Sanders. I mean, it's 3rd and 19, and they hand it off to Barry, and he's getting the first down. It's like it's ridiculous. So, I'm used to seeing that kind of stuff, but I did think that Tennessee would kind of keep the ball and pound it a little bit more. Kind of chew up the clock and keep the ball out of his hand. Maybe I'm giving Buffalo a game plan. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure with the way Buffalo's playing, they're going to be ready for Lamar and Baltimore. But surprisingly, it was just a good game. It was exciting. I'm always excited to see stuff like that.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that can take over a game, and he has struggled in the past couple of years in the playoffs, but he got his first win in that game, threw for 179 and rushed for 137, had that 48-yard run that was pretty much electrifying as the Ravens knocked off the Titans 20-13. And some of these coaches and some of these teams, I mean, you look at the Ravens, and it seems like they're always around. They don't win the Super Bowl, obviously, every year, but they're always near the top of the division. They're always making some noise in the playoffs, and they're really, really good. The team that I really think this might be the year they get over the hump is the Saints. They took on the Bears. 121-9 was the final in that game. It really wasn't the type of game I think that many of us expected the Saints to play. I really thought, even against the Bears defense, I thought they would score more. But the Saints just want to get through these playoffs. It's kind of like with the Saints, they look around and say, okay, I hope nothing bad happens this time. Because it seems like every year in the postseason, for the Saints, something bad happens.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that game was kind of flat to me. Actually, it was boring to me. But I just think Drew Brees is a lucky guy. Now, I like Drew Brees. I liked him. I like to see him play. But I just think he's just a lucky guy. I do see I think it's the Saints and Green Bay in the championship game. That's what I see, and the home team wins. And Robert, it sounds contradicting. When I say it sounds contradicting, I just don't think if the Saints are playing Green Bay in Green Bay, that they're accustomed to that weather.
Yeah. That's going to be a key when we get to that point. If both teams get through the divisional round, the last game of the weekend was the Browns and the Steelers, and that was one of the craziest games, I think, because you turn it on and you know Cleveland's got all the COVID problems. Their coach is in a basement somewhere watching the game on a TV. First of all, before we even talk about that, don't you think the NFL should have done something through this COVID protocol where if a coach gets stuck where they can't be at the game, they can still communicate with the team? I mean, couldn't we make that happen? Because that was so unfair, I think, for the Browns and for what was going on there. I mean, Stefanski could have, done a lot of good from where he was at. Now, obviously, the Browns won, and he'll coach this week. But I just think the NFL should have come up with some kind of plan to say, hey, these are crazy times, and we're going to set, a rule that while we're in this COVID deal, if a coach has to go out, he can still communicate with his team.
I think it should be that way, but it would probably be hard. It would probably be hard because when you watch it on television, I know I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was watching a game. And he's in Texas. Obviously, I'm here in North Carolina, and so he was watching the play. He's like, "Oh, it's another touchdown." And I said, "Wait a minute, man! I'm watching a game right here." I said, so I fast forward. I said, maybe somebody rewound my TV. I'm like, I hit fast forward. I'm like, I'm up to date, and I'm just delayed. I'm delayed behind him, and so I'm like, I don't even want to. I got to get off the phone with you, man, because I don't want to hear you shouting who won and all this stuff and who got a first down and a touchdown. So what I'm saying is that if a coach is watching it, it might be delayed, and he can't. He's communicating late, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Communication probably wouldn't be up to par. Maybe they got something that's a little higher tech than
right. They probably would. A lot of that is if you have DirecTV or if you have Suddenlink, and it depends on how they're getting their feed, or if you're taking the broadcast. If you have an antenna and you're taking the broadcast right from the like for us in Greenville, Channel 9, if you're taking it right off the antenna, you get it a little quicker, and it can get delayed. It can get delayed probably 5, 6, 7 seconds. So you make a good point on that, but they would have to figure out a way to get that done. But I just think the NFL could have done a better job with that, because we're all in unprecedented times. We all understand that this is a crazy time, and that teams have to really hold their breaths all the time to make sure all their players are free to play, and they're not in contact tracing, and they're not in the COVID protocol, and all of that. Now, we're taking your questions and comments on our Facebook Live feed. Robert Kenny writes in and says, how do you feel about Dan Quinn as a possible defensive coordinator for the Cowboys? The former Falcons coach.
Atlanta Falcons. I think he'd be great. You know why?
Well, they need great.
I think he'd be a great fit, because there are some coaches that are head coaches. There are some coaches that are defensive coaches, and there are some coaches that are offensive coaches. And I know some of my former coaches are going to be mad about this comment. So if it ever gets out to them, they might give me a call. But
somebody tweet this out.
Yeah, I never felt like, Dave Wannstedt was a great head coach, but I felt like Dave Wannstedt was a dynamic defensive coach. And I'm just picking on him because, I know he's had the jobs in Dallas as a defensive coordinator. Then he moved from there. He went to Chicago Bears, and then he went to Miami Dolphins. He came to Miami Dolphins, and then I think he went to University of Pittsburgh, and had little success there. So, there's some coaches, man. Dan Quinn was at Seattle, and he had that defense, and he could dial it up, and you couldn't gain 1 yard on those guys. I mean, he just had the personnel, he had the people, the coaching staff. I think he'd go to Dallas and he will make a great addition if that's what's about to happen. I just don't feel like he is that head coach, and all these coaches want to be head coaches. It's like people ask me, Robert, why don't you coach, man? Why don't you coach? I'm like, some players can play the game and they can't coach worth a darn. And I'm probably one of them. I mean, I could help a player individually, help his game, but I don't know if I'm, I'm that guy that can sit in that office and break down enough film and be able to give it to my students and have them to perform at a high level.
What did you think last night in that game when Pittsburgh's first possession, they snapped the ball over Roethlisberger's head and Cleveland gets a touchdown right off the bat, and then Big Ben comes back with a couple of picks, and they were down big early?
Well, I expected for Mike Tomlin to be cussing that center out. I expected for him to just grab him in the collar and just cuss him out, because that's what Jimmy would have done to players like ourselves when I was playing back in the days. And so I'm being funny when I say that, but that's a huge, major mistake. I don't know what that guy was thinking about. Maybe something, he got an itch or whatever.
I think he had a reach block he was trying to get to. If I saw the replay correctly, it looked like he had to go out after a tackle, so he snapped it, and he was out of there quick.
But his first job is to snap the ball to the quarterback. That's his first job. If you don't do that, I don't care how good of a blocker you are, because you ain't going to execute your play. You're going to have what happened. And then the second mistake was, Big Ben and the running back just fall on the ball. Quit trying to be a hero. Yeah. I mean, it would have been second down, and 20-something on the 2-yard line, but that's better than giving them a touchdown. So just fall on the ball, man. So, somebody should have just really gotten cussed out on the sideline there. That was my whole thing.
Browns won it 48-37, in case you didn't stay up late to see the final of that game, Cleveland advances.
No, I watched it. Yeah. Like I said, I watched all of that game. So it was horrible. The interceptions. Now, granted, the interceptions that Ben threw, they were tips. One was, tipped, and then the DB caught it, and then it was a couple like that, and then the D lineman hits the ball, and then next thing you know, another D lineman catches it. So it just wasn't Pittsburgh's day yesterday. It just wasn't their day.
It wasn't their day indeed. Robert Jones joining us from his home in Raleigh. Robert Jones, the former East Carolina All-American, the Hall of Famer at East Carolina, the 3-time Super Bowl champ. We'll take a commercial break right now. We'll come back. We'll run down the divisional round in the NFL playoffs, and then we'll talk about some of Robert's experiences in those 3 Super Bowl championships. Back with more after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports, north of the airport on Highway 11 in Greenville, your home for Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki motorcycles. The Pirates are at Cincinnati Wednesday at 5 o'clock. The Bearcats lost at Wichita yesterday, 82-76. Both ECU and UC are struggling in AAC play. The Pirates are 1-3, Cincinnati 1-4. ECU is 7-3 overall. UC is 3-7. NFL playoffs yesterday, Baltimore 20, Tennessee 13. Lamar Jackson gets his first playoff win. The Ravens quarterback threw for 179 yards and ran for 136 yards and 1 TD. It was New Orleans 21, Chicago 9. Cleveland over Pittsburgh, the final, 48-37. Baker Mayfield throws 3 touchdown passes for the Browns. For Cleveland, it's the first playoff win in 27 years. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find any of those at US Cellular because we do things differently. And that means you can get the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE or Google Pixel 5 for free with no hidden requirements all season long. US Cellular. Upgrade to fair. Terms and conditions apply. See store uscellular.com for details.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
Let us help you get back to business.
This is Donald Stocks
And Justin Judge of PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
We're ready to assist your business with branded PPE. Would you like face masks with your logo? We can do that. Plus custom social distancing signage.
Now is the time to ramp up your marketing efforts. Whether it's cutting edge, contactless, touchless marketing, or traditional direct mail, we can do it all.
We are PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
North Carolina state parks are now open for visitors. Parks should be used for exercise, fresh air, getting out in nature, or a day trip as the state safely reopens. Visitors should enjoy themselves, but please remember the 3 W's. Wear face coverings, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. Focus on moving through the park, keep social distancing in mind, and avoid large groups. While most facilities and activities will be open, please contact any state park before your visit with questions or visit ncparks.gov/open.
Hi, this is Morgan Ehlers, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show, taking your questions and comments for the former East Carolina All-American Robert Jones, who won 3 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. And he's kind of got his finger on the pulse of the playoffs, watching the games. Questions, comments from you on our Facebook Live page, on the Pirate Radio page. So if you have a question or a comment, I'll get those to Robert. The divisional rounds are up next for the NFL playoffs. The Rams, as the 6th seed, take on the Packers, the number 1 seed. Packers and Chiefs make their playoff debut coming up this weekend. Packers and Rams, 4:35 kickoff on Fox coming up on Saturday. And I would think, Robert, the Packers would be big favorites.
I think they'll be big favorites, man. But the Rams are not a true number 6. I mean, I just think that's just where they happen to fall. They're not a true number 6. See, the Washington football team was a true number 6. Or were they number 6? Because I didn't keep up with them. But I just don't think the Rams were a true number 6. And my point is that they may get surprised. I mean, I just think they'll get surprised at how well the Rams will play them. Sean McVay will have those boys ready.
I'm
a big Sean McVay fan.
Are you going to pick an upset there?
I mean, Sean McVay is going to have them ready, man.
Yeah.
He's just going to have them ready.
Good.
It's going to be a much tougher game than what I think we're all expecting.
And obviously in both of those games on Saturday, the weather could be an issue. In fact, it could be an issue in all the games except for the New Orleans game coming up Sunday night. But the second game on Saturday, the Ravens at the Buffalo Bills, that's an 8:15 kickoff. So you're in Buffalo, New York at 8:15 on January the 16th. That's going to be cold regardless, isn't it?
Yeah, but Baltimore is accustomed to that because Baltimore is not some little, tropical island.
Really?
So, it's not tropical in Baltimore. But,
no.
I think both teams would be affected, and trust me, I know guys that play for Buffalo. They're not outdoor men either. I mean, they want to be in warm weather. So, just because they're playing in Buffalo doesn't mean anything. It's going to be a good game. And guys just gonna have to allow the elements, man, to just do its thing and just forget about it and go play football.
Then on Sunday, the 3:00 game on CBS, the Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs. Will the Browns' magic continue with Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield, I've been knowing Baker Mayfield as a kid, man, because he played Pop Warner ball with Isaiah and his brothers and stuff. Zay, for those who don't know who Isaiah is, he's always been a determined kid, man, and just had a lot of heart. And he played quarterback when he was in Pop Warner, high school, the whole nine. So I've just followed his career. So he's got that thing about him that, he just wants to prove people wrong. And, just this energy that he has, I think will give Cleveland, a lot of fight in this game. But I just don't think it'll be enough to handle Kansas City. One of my favorite players is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
That guy is unstoppable. I feel like he's just unstoppable. And so Browns got to have an answer for that.
Browns and Chiefs in the first game on Sunday, followed by Buccaneers and Saints. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Tom Brady and Drew Brees for the first time ever in the playoffs. What about that matchup?
Drew Brees and Tom Brady. The battle of the 40-year-old.
Yeah. The battle of future Hall of Famers.
But they both they both are Hall of Famers.
Right.
I just had to get that in there, Brian. Come on now. I just had to get that in there.
The old geezers.
I think it's an evenly matched game. I'm gonna go with Tampa in this game.
Really? Because the Saints owned them this year in the regular season both times.
Well, I'm gonna go with Tampa in this game. This is the playoffs. This is the playoffs, so it's different.
It's different. I don't know if you saw this, Robert, and I don't know if you remember this player, but over the weekend, they put up Tom Brady's picture and his age, and they put up George Blanda. Remember George Blanda? Played for the Raiders back in the day in the late 60s?
No, I can't say I do remember.
He was whatever Tom's age is, 42, 43, whatever it is, but they're very similar in age. But George Blanda looked like me. He looked like he was 60, but he was still playing football. He would come off the bench for the Raiders and rally the Raiders several times. Back when I was a kid. I mean, I was, I guess, 68, 69. I was 7 years old. I remember the 4 o'clock game. The Raiders were playing that late game, and he'd come off the bench and rally him. And I mean, he was old as dirt. Now, Brady doesn't look old as dirt like George Blanda did, but the pictures of the guys side by side, it really said a lot about the league. Says a lot about our society. What great shape Tom Brady can stay in at that age and still play in the NFL. And George Blanda, he'd probably be over there smoking a cigarette.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure Tom is in great shape, but I think the quarterbacks like the Joe Montanas, even Troy himself. I don't know. Troy had so many concussions, but I'm picking quarterbacks from my time that played. I think that those guys could have played longer if the rules were as they are now for the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, you can hardly touch a quarterback now.
Right.
You still hit them, but back when I played, man, you can light a quarterback up. You can hit him on the knees and the ankle. You can horse collar him. You can slam him. You can smack him in the lips. You can do everything you want to do to a quarterback. And now you can't touch a quarterback. It's one portion of their body that you have to hit. Your helmet comes anywhere near their helmet, it's a penalty. So these quarterbacks know that they're not going to take as much punishment as the guys back in the days took. So you know what that all comes down to, Brian?
What's that?
At the end of the day?
What's that?
We were tougher players. I tell Zay all the time, we were just tougher players. I'm like, y'all not tough players anymore.
You tell Zay, what's Zay say to that? Pops, you been drinking?
He would say something crazy like that. I'm like, you guys may be faster, some of you may be stronger, but you just want tougher players, and you just didn't tough it out. Like, I mean, I played with a torn bicep, separated shoulder, torn meniscus.
You walked to school barefooted in the snow uphill, didn't you?
Yeah, I walked to school. That's right. Always on the bus, man. Always on the bus. Ask Zay how many times he rode the bus.
Oh, he rode the limo, didn't he? That's good stuff.
Man.
All right, Robert Jones joining us. Let's take another commercial break. We'll come back. We'll continue to pick his brain about the playoffs, about his career, and continue on this Monday, getting your sports week off to a good start with Robert Jones after this.
There's no better time to drive away with a quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Greenville Auto World. Greenville Auto World is your authorized rough country dealer. We specialize in lift and leveling kits along with custom wheel packages. Whether you're looking for ground clearance or enhancing the appearance of your vehicle, trust our team for your off-road experience. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard across from Hardee's at Bell's Fork, or online at greenvilleautoworld.net.
Welcome back for another episode of ASMR with Alex. Today, we're exploring the delicious, refreshing sounds of Pepsi. Oh, spilled a little there, but don't worry, it's all under control. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, the ice. I mean, we really should have some more ice, right? Hold on, guys.
Wow, this is loud.
And we're back. Like I was saying, the delicious, refreshing sounds of Pepsi. Dude, I told you, I'm working on something in here.
Does anyone even watch this?
It's not about the views, Dave.
Jinx, you owe me a Pepsi.
Get out!
All right, fine. I'll leave.
Finally, now for the best part. Pepsi. That's what I like. Nailed it. My subscriber is gonna love this one.
Are you gonna finish that Pepsi?
Hi, this is Billy Parker from Parker's Barbecue. I am so excited to announce a brand new menu item now available at all Parker's locations. Come in for our delicious new boneless wings. Our wings are fresh, hand-cut, right there in the store. Never frozen, and our wings are big. Try them tossed in one of our signature sauces, sweet red barbecue sauce or barbecue honey mustard. Get a boneless wing bag for less than $5. That includes 6 boneless wings with hush puppies and corn sticks. Parker's Barbecue, a homemade tradition for over 50 years.
PR927FM.com is the Pirate Nation's home to stream Pirate Radio live or archived anytime.
Stephen Igo tweeted out that ECU has been selected as a preseason poll number 13 by Perfect Game USA.
Okay.
So this is the second national poll that they have appeared in so far this year.
And we're likely to appear in all the 7 or 8 other ones that are floating out there.
We'll likely get Cliff Godwin's response to it on Monday, which I can probably go ahead and quote it, is ignore the noise.
Ignore the noise.
PR927FM.com, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
It's bow time. There's something special about the first bite of a Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit, like an edible alarm clock that slaps you awake with bold Cajun flavor. The moment you sink your teeth into that soft, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit, then strike gold with a juicy piece of fried chicken, you'll know. Nothing beats the first bite, except the second first bite. Get a Cajun filet biscuit combo for just $4.99. It's bow time.
This is assistant football coach Drew Dudzik, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show. Robert Jones, our guest today. So, Robert, we looked at all the matchups, and you picked a little bit of an upset. Who are your 2 teams to make it to Super Bowl 55? Who do you got?
Well, I'm going to be honest, man, and tell you who I think's going to be there, and then I'll tell you who I would like to be there.
All right, let's hear them both.
All right. I think it's going to be Kansas City and Green Bay.
All right. But who would you like to see there?
I like to see Baltimore there. And see, for the NFC, I like to see Tampa there.
Baltimore and Tampa.
Yeah, the only reason I want Tampa there is because this myth about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, you know, I just wanted to go away. Like I'm for the players. I mean, they won those Super Bowls at New England because they had a great quarterback. Tom Brady, it didn't matter who the receiver was, he was playing ball every year, and they were winning. I ranked Tom up there with, everybody's arguably, made him the best quarterback that's ever played the game. I just kind of put him in that group of men that, like the Joe Montanas, all these great quarterbacks, Brett Favre, these guys that, it didn't matter who the receiver was, they just played. They did really well. So, the thing about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and, now Tom doesn't have Bill Belichick, will he play better? And, man, it would just be great to see him in the Super Bowl once again without Belichick.
It could happen. I mean, any of these teams, I think, could get hot and win it, because if a team comes in flat, like we've already seen in the playoffs, or a team just happens to be there a year. I mean, I started thinking about the Rams and Jared Goff with an injured thumb. He had surgery 2 weeks ago. He wasn't supposed to play at all, and then he has to go in there and play, and he played well. And the Rams got it going. And as you said, you like Coach McVay, so I mean, you got situation like that. But it's going to be fun next week. Doubleheaders both days, Saturday and Sunday, the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Robert, before we let you go, got a couple of other questions written in. One is the national championship tonight, Alabama, Ohio State. Who have you got there?
Well, I'm kind of like I don't care who wins, because how many games did Ohio State play?
I believe they were 6-0 when they started the college football playoff. Yeah.
Okay. So I understand that COVID is the reason why they couldn't play, but I don't think a team that played 6 games should be in there at all. But that's my own selfish opinion. I just think to be qualified, you had to play an entire season. And if COVID kept you from playing it, then, so be it. You just happen to be living in the wrong state. 6 games. I mean, Alabama's played a bunch of games. So, I'm not a big Alabama fan, but I'm just going to watch the game and just enjoy it for what it is, man. But to play 6 games and then play in a national championship, how you call yourself a national champion?
Well, and not only was it Ohio State or any of the Big Ten teams, it was the Big Ten Conference. They were so much in a hurry in August to cancel their season. I mean that's what they came out with. Hey, the Pac-12 the same way. We're canceling. We're not playing this year because of COVID. And all of us, all of the sports fans and all the players and coaches were like, they really want to play. And so some of the leagues were trying to get together with doctors and say, hey, can we? And nobody wanted to play if it wasn't safe. But I think the point was, if we can get together and do this safely, can we do it? And the ACC did it, the SEC did it, the American did it, and I mean, they were able to. Then all of a sudden, the Big Ten's like, hey, maybe we can do this too, and they got on the board late. And I agree with you. They got on late, and I didn't think they deserved a spot at the table either. Although I will say they looked pretty good against Clemson, didn't they?
Yeah, they looked good against Clemson, but man, you got a team that. Here's Clemson. How many games Clemson played?
I'm not sure. They played closer to a full schedule.
Okay, so for me, it's like, football, every week, it takes a toll on your body. And by the 10th or 11th game, your body starts to feel like, I don't want to play no more. By the 6th or 7th game, man, your body doesn't feel the same way it feels when it's the 10th or 11th game. It may sound crazy and stupid to other people, but until you played the game and been in it, you won't know. But I just don't feel like that, Ohio State, even when they played Clemson, was fair. I mean, they played them, they beat their butts.
Yeah.
But give me the same amount of games, and then let's meet up.
I agree with you.
Games where you got to go through the injuries, you got to go through all the stuff, the nicks, the bruises, sprained ankles, twisted elbows, all of that stuff. Like 6 games, man, your body's still fresh.
I agree with, and I think that's, again, I don't think it was Ohio State's fault. I think it was the conference as a whole, but that's what they deserved. But they're in it. They're in the national championship tonight against Alabama coming up later on this evening. Let's talk about Zay. Give us an update on Zay.
Well, I think Isaiah toughed it out mentally this year with the Raiders. Didn't play as much as he wanted to, but he's not hurt, and there's no issues with the staff. I think they love him, from things that I'm hearing, and he's looking to just kind of take this time this off season and see where it goes from there, whether he re-signs with the Raiders or with someone else. But it's the first time. We talked yesterday. He said, Dad, it's the first time that I'm not hurt. I'm happy. I did everything I was supposed to do. My coaches love me. So, I just want to relax and enjoy this off season, not being, hurt and coming back and rehabbing and all of that stuff. So I said, great. So that's where he is. So, Brian, I'll let you know when he gets in town.
Yeah, that'd be good.
He's coming, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, let us know. We'd like to get up with him because, as I said at the beginning of the show, perhaps the first family of Pirate football, All-American Robert Jones and his son, Zay Jones, who is the NCAA's all-time receptions leader, and a record that it may be broken down the line, but it's going to take some kind of effort to break that record. How about your opinion before we let you go on the future of Pirate football? What do you think of Coach Houston, and what do you think of the future?
I like Coach Houston. It's the same old thing with me. I just think that the country has to be open for our coaches to just go and get, players. I mean, I'm not saying that we can't find good players in the state of North Carolina, but everybody else is going different places. And I know we go some to Florida, and but we need to go across the country. We need to go get some real good players to come in here and help our football team. I think the recruiting, it has to be where our coaches, allowed to just go across the state. And I know that has something to do with money, the budget and all of that stuff. So, but I always look at it like this. And it's like you get what you pay for. So, you go out here and, you just kind of stay in one spot and you pick from a pool that everybody else is picking from. You may get the leftovers, but, you may find some guys on the West Coast that want to come to the East Coast. They've never been here and they just want to change. So, who knows?
All right, you played in 3 Super Bowls, winning 3 with the Dallas Cowboys. What's your best memory of playing in those Super Bowls?
Mine was, believe it or not, Michael Jackson was just right outside the locker room on stage performing. And I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, each Super Bowl, there was someone dynamic that was outside singing at halftime. But you asked me my best memory, and I know you're looking for a tackle or you're looking for a big play or interception or something. Brian, after we played the first Super Bowl, I was very, very excited about that thing. We won. We beat Buffalo 52-17 after the first Super Bowl, and we came back the second one in Atlanta. I'm like, we done been here before, so who's singing at halftime? And then, the third one in Sun Devil Stadium in Arizona, it was the same thing. It's like we enjoyed it. We got there. I mean, it was a different head coach, but it was the same team. So it's like, we're here again. So I'm like, man, who was supposed to do halftime shows? I mean, that's what we're in the locker room doing. So it was, those are just my memories, like the people that showed up and all the superstars and the movie stars and people who came. Like, I mean, the Fonz. I saw the Fonz sitting in the stands my first Super Bowl.
Wow, the Fonz.
The Fonz.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler. And that's what stuck.
Winkler,
that's what
man.
Stuck in your head. The Fonz. Did he have his leather coat on?
That's what stuck in my head in the locker room during halftime. I don't know how he did it, but what's the little kid named Webster?
Yeah, he was there.
Webster he was sitting on top of the lockers in the locker room in halftime. I'm like, wow, do you know what that is? I remember that when I was a little boy.
Wow.
So, and I'm like, he still looked like the same little Webster.
Little Webster. That's good.
Yeah.
Man.
My memories were all the people, seeing the Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown in the lobby in Los Angeles during the first Super Bowl, and you know, the cast from Martin, you know, just all the people. Because I'm a little old country boy and went to East Carolina, so I never got to see all that stuff. And then, you know, going to Dallas and then winning a Super Bowl my first year and then getting to see all these people and understanding what it's all about, you know, everybody comes out for the Super Bowl. Just enjoyed it. That was my best memory, just meeting a lot of people.
And it's got to be a short list of players that have played in the league that have won 3 Super Bowls.
I think it is a short list. There's a lot of guys who's won 1 Super Bowl, but there's a short list of 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think there's only 1 or 2 that's just won 5 Super Bowls. And then I think Tom Brady stands alone at 6, right?
Charles Haley's up there with a bunch. I don't know if he's at 5 or 6.
Charles got 5.
Okay.
Charles got 5. Doesn't Brady have 6?
Yes, I believe that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Robert, we'll let you go. We certainly appreciate your time, and we'll wind this thing up. But give your wife, Militia, a hug. Tell her we love her. Tell her we love Zay and your family. You got a daughter here playing volleyball, right?
Got a daughter there playing volleyball, and I got a granddaughter now, Brian.
Wow. Well, all right. Now, here's the big question of the interview. What do they call you? What will the little one call you?
What? Hey, are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay. It's the number 2 and hyphen T-O-P.
Two-pop. You're two-pop? See, when my children started having kids, we came up with Pops for me. So I'm Pops, but I'll be darned, I'm only half as good as you because you're two-pop.
Two-pop. Yeah, I'm two-pop. I'm the second dad, I guess.
Oh, that is good stuff, two-pop. All right, Robert. Hey, enjoy the hour, man. It flew by. Thanks so much. If you need anything my way, please give me a call.
All right. Thank you.
That's two-pop. Robert Jones joining us on our show. We'll take a final break. Back to wrap things up right after this. Two-pop.
BMS Builders is your premier custom builder in eastern North Carolina. With Blackwood and Mills Creek in Greenville, Dalton's Cove in Farmville, and Belmar in Ayden, these are just a few of the developments featuring BMS Builders homes. They can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or East Carolina football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. BMS Builders. Give them a call at 916-1578 for BMS Builders. First came the PCC location, then came the ECU location on Jarvis Street. Now introducing the newest store at 10th Street at the Food Line near Walmart. It's Angus Grill 3. 3 restaurants featuring all of your favorite burgers and more. They've got your classic Angus, steak burger, brisket burger, black and blue burger, sweet sriracha burger, jalapeno popper burger. You get the idea. Now with 3 options for the best burger in town. Angus Grill at PCC, Angus Grill at ECU, and now Angus Grill at 10th Street in the Food Line Shopping Center. It's Greenville's best burger, times 3.
Bostic Sugg Furniture wants to know, how'd you sleep last night? If you're like thousands, the answer is probably not very well. You're tired, stressed, your job suffers, and worse, your health suffers. Get better sleep on a Restonic mattress, a Consumer's Digest Award winner 13 years running. Restonic Queen mattresses start as low as $4.99. Restonic 2-sided Queen mattresses from only $6.99. If you're ready to wake up to a whole new you, we have a Restonic mattress waiting for you, exclusively at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-styled restaurant and bar. Join us at the Rick House for mouth-watering steaks and the best burgers around. Check out the spicy mahi risotto or the bourbon pecan salmon. Wednesday night is date night. 2 salads, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, 2 entrees, and a dessert for just $55. Thursday is ladies' night with $5 martinis and special apps. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville. The Rick House.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
There's no better time to drive away with a quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Greenville Auto World. Greenville Auto World is your authorized rough country dealer. We specialize in lift and leveling kits along with custom wheel packages. Whether you're looking for ground clearance or enhancing the appearance of your vehicle, trust our team for your off-road experience. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard across from Hardee's at Bell's Fork, or online at greenvilleautoworld.net.
This is Big John Williams, strength and conditioning coach for East Carolina football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back as we wrap things up on this edition of The Brian Bailey Show. I want to thank Robert Jones, the former East Carolina All-American, the Hall of Famer at ECU, and the three-time Super Bowl champion linebacker with the Dallas Cowboys. And now he'll be forever known as Tupop. His name from his grandchildren. He has one grandchild now, and he'll be called Tupop, which is just too funny to me. The NFL playoffs continue. The divisional round coming up next weekend. We'll talk about that next week, and of course, whatever else is going on in the sports world. Have yourself a great sports week, and we'll see you back here next Monday on The Brian Bailey Show.